It's a prank being blamed for the loss of one life, and it might cost 2 careers. Today, the DJs who broadcast a call to the London hospital caring for the Duchess of Cambridge made a tearful apology because the nurse who forwarded the call later committed suicide. The pair spoke on 2 commercial networks, and a third interview was abandoned, with a spokeswoman saying they were too distressed to continue. But some believe it's Southern Cross Austereo management that bears responsibility. Adam Harvey reports.
We thought we'd give it a call. We don't want to cause any trouble.
Yeah.
We don't want to stress her out because she's doing it tough.
Yep.
But I reckon we can maybe get her on the radio tonight.
It was a silly joke designed to fill airtime in a national music show.
We can't just ring up and go, "Hi, it's MC and Mel from the Summer 30. Can we chat to Kate?" Hang up. Not going to happen.
Yeah.
But the fallout from a prank phone call by 2 young Australian DJs spreads further by the day.
We thought that maybe you could be the royal corgis, if you're okay with that.
The death of Jacinta Saldana is dreadful and tragic.
It was a prank that went horribly wrong. I think all we can do is mourn and grieve for everyone involved.
The nurse who was a victim of a prank call.
There's been international condemnation.
It is a little bit frightening, it's a bit intrusive as well for what the people in Australia did.
The British media want blood, and there's not much mercy on social media.
You know what? They were the worst accents ever. And
It must have seemed harmless enough to Sydney DJs Michael Christian and Mel Gregg. Call a London hospital that was the focus of global attention, because it was where Kate Middleton was being treated for severe morning sickness. And pretend to be Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, hello there. Could I please speak to Kate, please, my granddaughter?
I don't think they were going too far with this one in the beginning. The 2 kids who did it, inexperienced disc jockeys, a less than prime time evening slot. I am certain they would have imagined that the hospital would have hung up and just said, go away. They wouldn't have got past the switchboard.
To the great embarrassment of management at London's King Edward VII Hospital, the DJs were given an update on the Duchess's condition. Nurse Jacinta Saldana did not reveal the information herself, but she patched through the call and may have blamed herself for the breach of privacy.
We can confirm that Jacinta was recently the victim of a hoax call to the hospital. The hospital had been supporting her through this very difficult time.
The 47-year-old nurse apparently killed herself, leaving behind 2 teenage children in Bristol and a devastated family in India.
If you're wondering what's happened, a couple of nights ago we called the hospital.
In Australia, there's some empathy for the relatively inexperienced DJs whose program has been cancelled. Tonight, they spoke to 2 commercial television networks about the call and its aftermath.
Every other media outlet in the world wanted to touch on Kate being in hospital. That was our way of doing it to the best of the show's ability, and that was trying to find a different angle. And our angle was having those silly little accents and being hung up on.
Hospital Chairman Lord Glen Arthur has sent a letter of complaint to today's parent company, Austereo. Then to discover that not only had this happened, but that the call had been pre-recorded and the decision to transmit approved by your station's management was truly appalling. The station says it tried to get the nurse's permission to rebroadcast the interview.
It is absolutely true to say that we actually did attempt to contact those people on multiple occasions.
Really? To get approval?
We rang them up to discuss what we had recorded
before it went to air.
Absolutely, we couldn't. We tried. We attempted to contact them on no less than 5 occasions.
Media Watch host Jonathan Holmes says criticism should be directed at management.
I think it's very unfortunate that the 2 young DJs have been pursued in the way that they have on social media. It's inevitable, I suppose, but I think it's very unfair to blame them. I mean, this was quintessentially a management decision. It was pre-recorded. The lawyers heard it. The management heard it. It went ahead. That means it's not the DJ's fault.
Went through the process as every other recorded bit that we do, from interviews to, to anything. It all gets recorded and passed on to the appropriate people, goes through the process, and we're told whether it's yes or no to play.
That's what you are. You should be fired from your job.
The station's reputation has been tarnished by its repeat offences against Australian broadcasting codes. In 2009, a lie detector stunt went badly wrong when 2DayFM DJ Kyle Sandilands pressed a 14-year-old girl about her sex life, and she revealed to a live audience that she'd been raped. And earlier this year, Sandilands said this about a female newspaper reporter.
What a fat bit of thing you are. You're deputy editor of an online thing. That's enough. You got a nothing job anyway. Just so you know, you're a piece of shit.
Late today, the station's owners suspended all advertising and prank calls. In a statement, Southern Cross Austereo denies the prank call breached any law, regulation or code. Jonathan Holmes disputes that.
The rules are actually quite clear if you read the codes, and that is you have to get the consent of the person that's been pranked after you've successfully pranked them. If you can't get that consent, it would be a very sensible rule to stick by, because it's there in black and white. Don't broadcast it.
Australia's independent broadcasting regulator, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, has received complaints about the hoax call. The decision about whether to investigate the call for possible breaches of the Commercial Radio Code of Practice is one for the independent regulator.
But the station may also have broken the law.
But in respect of the New South Wales legislation, it's technically illegal to record a conversation or to publish a conversation without someone, or private conversation without someone's consent. Insofar as the Commonwealth legislation is concerned, one can't necessarily record over a telecommunication system a conversation and then publish it without that person's knowledge.
There will be a lot of pressure on ACMA to act, and possibly even the New South Wales coppers if they want to go for this New South Wales Listing Devices Act. So I think 2DayFM's in a fair bit of trouble.
Australian police have received a request for information from their counterparts in London.
What these two kids did was very small. Just listening to it, you could tell they were just doing it for fun. They didn't intend to cause hurt to anybody.
It's the station management that should take the responsibility. They were kids rushing in where rather wiser and older angels might have feared to tread.
It's the worst phone call I've ever had in my life.
It was early Saturday morning. Well, when we were told. I mean, personally, I'm gutted.
There's not a minute that goes by that we don't think about her family and what they must be going through. And the thought that we may have played a part in that is gut-wrenching.
2DayFM's management declined 7:30's request for an interview tonight. Adam Harvey with